Hey, seventh grade. So our learning target for today is I can identify reflections. You should be on page 22. So we're going to talk about reflections or mirror images. Now you've done reflections for a long time, um, but what's going to be a little bit different today is we're going to have some coordinates involved in the process. So that will be a little bit different in your reflection work for today. So if you remember what a reflection is, it really just means flipping a figure over a line of reflection. So we take a figure, we flip it over a line, we have the reflection or the mirror image. Again, you've been doing this probably since 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. When we flip it, what's most important is that it stays congruent, which means it's the same size and the same shape. So everybody should be filling in those blanks right now. Same size, same shape, congruent. Okay, so just like in our work with translation, the new figure after the reflection, this should say reflection, there's an error there, sorry about that. The new figure after the reflection is called an image. We're going to use those primes again today, those little apostrophes in math, which means that it's new, the image. All right, so let's take a look at some examples here. We want to tell whether the blue figure is a reflection of the red figure. Now you'll have to look on the screen. It won't be indicated as well on your paper to see if there truly is a reflection. So if we take this blue figure, are we reflecting it over? Is it the mirror image? No, it actually looks like a translation or a slide. It did not get flipped. So we're asking, did we flip it? And is it congruent? Those are kind of the two big questions. Did we flip it? Is it congruent? We would say no in example 1. Everybody should be writing no in example 1. That is not a reflection. We did not flip it. In example 2, did we flip it is the first question. And if we flipped it, is it congruent? And you should be saying yes. If we flip it, would this point A land right here, A prime? Yes, so this is a reflection. We flipped it and it's congruent, we have a reflection. Moving on to example 3. Example 3 is, did we flip it? And if we flipped it, is it congruent? Did we flip it? No, so we should be saying no. No flip, that looks like a translation. Number 4, did we flip it? And if we flipped it, is it congruent? Did we flip it? No, not a reflection. Again, looks like another translation. Number 5, did we flip it? And if we flipped it, is it congruent? Did we flip it? Yes, we did. Is it appear to be congruent, same size, same shape? Yes. So we would say in number 5, this is example of a reflection. So going back through and grading your paper, you should have, let's see, no, yes, no, no, and yes in those 5 examples. Go ahead and catch up if you are behind. This next piece right here is just actually for discussion purposes. I just wanted to give you some notes of what a reflection looks like in the coordinates. I realize that it's a little small, so we're actually going to move on. If you're able to read it, you can go ahead and read it just for note-taking purposes, but otherwise we're going to move on. So we're going to talk about how we reflect something and what the axes represent. So the vertices, which these are the vertices or the corners, we should say the corners. And think about kind of 4 different hotel rooms here. So let's go ahead and plot these. We have a -4, 3. So we start at the origin, we check in, we say, hi, where am I staying? They say you're going to stay in room A, which is located at -4, -3. You find the elevator first, and then you're going to go down 3. So he's checking at the front door. We're going to go find that elevator left 4, left 1, 2, 3, 4, down 1, 2, 3. This becomes the coordinate A. A, that's my hotel room. Friend is staying in B. Find that elevator first, and then you're going to go down 1. So we're going to find the elevator is located at left 4. So we're going to start checking at the front door. Go left 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're going to go down 1, it looks like, down 1. So B. Other teammate is staying in room C. Elevator first, and then we're going to go down 1. Find that elevator, it's at -1. So we're checking at the front door. Go left 1 to find the elevator. Go down 1, that's the coordinate C. And E. Find that elevator, it's at -1, and then go down 3. So we're going to go left 1, down 1, 2, 3, which is D. So this is our rectangle A, B, C, D. Those are where my 4 friends are saying. We've graphed the rectangle. What we're going to do then in part A is we've already drawn the rectangle, so that's done. But then what we're going to do is we're going to reflect it over the x-axis. So the first thing we should do is figure out where the x-axis is. So this is our x-axis. And we've talked a lot about that this is our y-axis. So we're going to take the rectangle and we're going to actually flip it over the x-axis. So I'll go ahead and use the calligraphy pen to kind of show you what's happening. We're going to take this rectangle and we're going to flip it over the x-axis. So when we flip it, it should be equidistant, which means it's the same line from the line of same distance from the line of symmetry. It has to be congruent, and we have to flip it. So I'm going to take the coordinate A, and when I flip it, it's going to land. So right now the coordinate A is 3 units below the x-axis. When I flip it over the x-axis, it should end up 3 units above. So it'd be 1, 2, 3. This is where we would call A prime. Everybody go ahead and count that out. When I take A and flip it over the x-axis, if it's 3 units below the x-axis currently, when we go to flip it, it should be 3 units above the x-axis. B. When we take B, we're going to flip it over the x-axis. It should land 1 unit above, which becomes B prime. C. C is 1 unit below. So when we flip it, it becomes 1 unit above, which becomes C prime. And D, when we flip it, it's 3 units below. When we flip it, it ends up being 3 units above D prime. So we end up with A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime. A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime. That's part A. Okay, so that's our first reflection. Now, what's new for you this year in 7th grade is that we are going to reflect more than once, and we're going to get to this idea called double prime, or the second reflection. So we're going to draw the rectangle and its reflection over, this time, the y-axis. So we're going to take the black rectangle that we have, A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime, and we're going to now flip it over the y-axis. This will become something called double prime. So if D prime is located right here, it's 1 unit from the y-axis. When I flip over, it's going to land right here, which is called D double prime. It means it's the second reflection, or the second image. Then C prime, it's 1 unit away from the y-axis. When I flip it over, I end up landing right here, which becomes C double prime. C double prime. If we're going too fast right now, you need to pause the video, rewind. If you have a sub right now, you very politely, respectfully ask for them to stop the video so you can catch up. A prime looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 units away from the y-axis. So when I flip over the y-axis, it needs to be 4 units away. 1, 2, 3, 4. This becomes A double prime, second reflection. All right, and finally, B prime is 4 units to the left of the y-axis. When I flip it over, it's going to be 4 units to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, which is B double prime. So this becomes my second reflection. A double prime, B double prime, C double prime, D double prime. So let's go ahead and answer this question down here, which is asking, are the rectangles congruent? We're really talking about, is the rectangle ABCD? Is it congruent to rectangle A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime? Are they the same size, same shape? Yes. Is that congruent to rectangle A double prime, B double prime, C double prime, D double prime? Is it true that all 3 of the rectangles are congruent, same size, same shape? We would say yes. For sure they are congruent. And if that's the case, then we would go ahead and say that for sure we have a reflection. All right, guys, great job today. Let me meet on the top of page 23, and we're going to talk about the difference between a translation and a reflection. Okay, so here's this triangle that we have. It's RST. RST. We're going to start by doing what's called a translation. That's where you slide the figure. So let's first write the translation. We learned how to do this 2 days ago. So we have X. Our elevator movement is happening first. 1 unit to the right, X plus 1, and 5 units down, Y minus 5. So our translation then becomes X plus 1, Y minus 5. So we're going to go right 1, down 5. So let's go ahead and make that translation for that slide. Again, that's our lesson from a couple days ago, or maybe yesterday actually, depending on where you guys are at in the unit. So we're going to go, here's my T value, we're going to go right 1, down 5. So I'm going to go right 1, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This becomes what we call T prime. That's my first movement. I'm going to do the same thing with the S value. Right 1, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This becomes S prime. My R value, then we're going to go right 1, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This becomes R prime. So this is my triangle. R prime, S prime, T prime. That's the translation or the slide that occurs there. Okay, so now we're going to move into what's new today. So that was yesterday's work. Reflection now means to flip. So we said a translation. The translation means to slide. A reflection means to flip. We're going to flip over the y-axis. So here's our y-axis. We're going to take the purple triangle on my screen, r prime, s prime, t prime, and we're going to flip it over this y-axis. Here we go. Let's take a look at this now. So if we flip it over that axis, right now the s prime is 1, 2, 3 units away from the y-axis. So if I flip it over, it needs to be 3 units to the right. 1, 2, 3. Take a look at that. So if it's 3 units to the left, when we go to flip over, it should be 3 units to the right, which becomes s double prime. Everybody catch up if I'm going too fast. All right. R prime down here is 3 units to the left, so when I flip over, it should be 3 units to the right, r double prime. And t prime is 1 unit to the left, so when I flip it over, it becomes t double prime. Gives me this reflection. Notice there's a flip there. Is it congruent? Yes. So we can just go ahead and put a star here to say that we've done that. Okay, so reflections. Has to be a flip, has to be congruent. Let's go ahead and talk about kind of our last example here. The coordinates of a point and its image are given. Is the reflection in the y-axis or the x-axis or the y-axis? So here's a coordinate. We're going to flip it to this piece. Our job is to figure out, did we flip an x or y? So let's go ahead and plot this point. We'll call it A and A prime. Let's go plot point A. This is my hotel room. Find the elevator first, and then we're going to go down 2. Check in the front door. We're going to go right 2, find that elevator, down 2. This is the coordinate A. Catch up if I'm going too fast. Slow down. We're going to go ahead and flip it to this coordinate. Find the elevator first, go up 2. Find the elevator, it's at 2, up 2, which becomes A prime. So if we go ahead and see how we flipped that, it appears that we're going to do this flip over this axis right here, which is called the x-axis. So this is a reflection over the x-axis. X-axis. Okay, guys, our last problem of the day before we get that summary. Here we go. We're going to call this B, and we're going to call this B prime. Let's go ahead and plot them out. So coordinate B is located at -4, 1. Find the elevator first, and then we're going up 1. Elevator is located at -4. Check in the front door. Left, 1, 2, 3, 4, up 1. This is the coordinate B. All right, we're going to go ahead and plot B prime. For B prime, we check in at the front door. We're going to go right, 1, 2, 3, 4, up 1, which is B prime. We would go ahead and look at that and say, well, is it a flip over the x-axis or the y-axis? Well, if we go ahead and highlight our axes, we're going to say, here's our y-axis. Did we flip B over the y-axis? Yes, we did. From B to B prime, we're flipping over the y-axis. All right, guys, so that's reflections. Remember, it's a flip, same size, same shape after we flip. That's different than what we did yesterday. Translations are where we slide them. Reflections are where we flip them. Just be careful and make sure you count the jumps from the x or y axis to make sure you're putting them in the correct location. Your homework for tonight, 7th grade, is to finish page 23 and all of page 24 due tomorrow. Have a fabulous night.